So here's my real thoughts on the recent My Little Pony episode Made in Manhattan. We see at the beginning of the episode Twilight is bored of reading her books. She's been doing the princess thing for a while now, and for the last few episodes she's just found that existence boring, and it's just not really the kind of thing that she enjoys. She doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing with this kind of power and responsibility, and would just rather do any kind of adventure besides just sitting around the castle all day waiting for things to get interesting. And when things finally do get interesting, she's yet again excluded from the adventure. And for a good reason, as we'll find out. Rarity and Applejack are summoned to go to Manehaten, a return visit for the cast, as opposed to sending them off to a place we've never been before, which would be awesome, but I don't think it's gonna happen anymore from here on out. I really doubt we're going to see the map send the ponies to any more original locations. I don't expect anytime soon to be seeing Philadelphia or Baltimore or Saddle Arabia or the Zebra Homeland or any of the other places that I've had my heart set on. I think from now on we're just going to be sticking to Ponyville and Canterlot and places that we're already very familiar with. Some false hype on the part of the people who promoted this series. And I really wanted to go to someplace like Los Pegasus for once. Anyhow, the group gets to Manhattan. During this early segment is my only complaint for the episode, and that's the fact that Applejack is too country to understand how to cross the street in the big city. This is a pony who's been to Manhattan twice before, once as a foal when she tried to move in with her uncle and Aunt Orange, and once recently in Rarity Takes Manhattan. Neither of those times did Applejack show that she was too country to understand how the big city worked. And she, in fact, actually learned from her aunt and uncle how to have a city attitude. She should still be able to cross the street. But all of this aside, I have very few complaints. Other than one other complaint, and that's the fact that Aunt and Uncle Orange and Babs Seed, who live in Manhattan, also don't appear in this episode. Anyhow, the two ponies go out to find a friendship problem. At first, Rarity thinks that the friendship problem she was sent to solve is related to a pony who's about to buy a bad hat, which is a major fashion disaster that she uses her skills to avert, at the cost of costing the hat seller his business. With the Judy marks not glowing, signifying a job well done, Rarity and Applejack go to a street corner to ask other ponies passing by on the street if any of them need friendship advice. This is done through a very subtle but clever Peanuts reference, until a flyer that is way too wordy to be an effective advertisement floats down conveniently into Rarity's face, as flyers often do. Rarity reads it off and discovers that Coco Pomel is the one who needs help. With the name being familiar, Rarity decides this must be where the map was sending them, and they go to help Coco Pomel. What Coco wants to do is revitalize outdoor theater. A pony that she knew when she was a young foal and that she looked up to and admired used to be in charge of running an outdoor theater. This theater was taken care of and maintained by the community until that pony left to live with her grandchildren. Now Toto is in charge of things, but she hasn't had any free time and hasn't been able to motivate the community to help her. This has led to many moons of neglect of the theater, and the park in which it was based has become overgrown with weeds, and the stage has decayed and fallen apart. Rarity decides to help Toto by making the costumes, and Applejack decides to help by doing the weeding and building. But the job of weeding the park and building the stage is bigger than Applejack can handle on her own. So after her cat takes a series of abuse, Applejack finally accepts the fact that the job is much bigger than she can do on her own. Rarity begins to consider the possibility that they'll have to return home a failure from their mission when Applejack realizes that if they make a few changes and simplify, that rather than do one big job that they can't do on their own, they should do one little job that does the job efficiently and gets things done, but isn't as grandiose as Toto had originally intended, scaling back a massive project into what can physically be done in a limited time span. Once the play is put on, members of the community stop to watch it and reminisce about the good old days when the plays used to be put on all the time, and they come to the realization, thanks to Rarity and AJ's example, that doing little things can help bring the community together, and that by combining all those little things, a much bigger thing can be accomplished. The Cutie marks glow, signifying that the job is done and it's time to go home. A few interesting notes on this episode. 1. The plays Wizard of Oz, My Fair Lady, and Fiddler on the Roof are all canon in Pony World. And 2. The Sisterhood's social was being held while Rarity and AJ were out of town, meaning that Sweetie Belle and Apple Bloom are going to have to do the Sisterhood's social without their sisters, something which will be the focus of next week's plot. If this is going in the same direction as Dame's Pony's play and Just for Sidekicks, then we are once again getting 2 episodes that tell the same story at the same time at 2 different locations, which is very exciting, and this was a great way to set up what will be gone into next week. It was also good to see Toto Pamela again, even if we didn't get to see Babseed whatsoever. And as the series wraps up, Babseed is a character who I desperately want to see make an appearance in one of the episodes before the season concludes. I would also like to see the CMC get their cutie marks, real true cutie marks, not fake ones that go away and return them to blank status at the end of the episode, but actual permanent lasting real cutie marks. I would like to see a Zatora centered episode and a return from either Trixie and or Lightning Dust. Anyhow, that's all I have to think about for right now. Thank you for watching and good night.